What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls of all ages? This is That PlayStation Gamer. Today, we are going over a quick little headline that's making its ways around the news cycle. That is, Naughty Dog is actually forcing mandatory overtime over at the studio to get Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, quote, back on track. So this comes from Jason Schreier of Bloomberg. And for the record, I will state my opinion on crunch as is. I'm not okay with crunch. I think it's not good for, your mental state and all that. But then, as this article goes on to explain, and at least from the headlines I was reading from another website, Push Square, shout out to them, basically, what is happening is that this game has missed several milestone goals. So now over at Naughty Dog, they're like, okay, now we got to put boots on the ground now. We need to get this done now, because if we don't, there's a chance that Sony could just say, hey, we're not comfortable keep financing this game if you guys keep missing these goals. Supposedly, they want to get this game out by 2027. The target is right now mid-2027. And like I said, on one hand, I get it. From a human standpoint, obviously you want to, take your time with stuff. But at the same time, you do have to understand companies have goals. They have criteria they have to meet in these studios. If this project is not making certain headway that the publisher is happy about, the publisher is within their right to pull funding or to sit there and go, well, maybe we shouldn't be greenlighting this if it's causing so many problems. And for what I understand, Eric Galactic for the most part has made progress since it was announced, but it hasn't been making enough progress to where basically, look at it like this. They're probably at what? We'll say 30-40% right now of the game being done. And now they need to they need to be at 60. They need to be at 60% by this point. Because then you have to prep up marketing, you have to prep up, all the extra stuff like collector's editions and stuff like that, although they normally outsource that stuff to collectors to other companies. My point being is that you're normally supposed to be at a higher point if your goal is so close. I know 2027 still sounds like it's 2 years away, but it's like as we see with time, as you get older, you'll kind of know this. Time goes by fast. There's an old expression: years go by fast and days go by slow. So I kind of understand why they have to have the mandatory overtime right now, and it's not good. I am not happy about the studio having mandatory overtime, but if the reasons that this article state is true, I could totally understand why it needs to be done, because you need to get to 60% before Sony comes back and does a mandatory review of the progress you're making. It's like a better way to put it is if you were doing a class project and it's taking so long, the teacher is going to come in and check in on you hey, are you making progress? What's going on here? And if you're having problems, the teacher might have to say, hey, maybe you just need to scrap this and go do something else. So with all that said, guys, this is That PlayStation Gamer saying I'm not for crunch, but I am a person who understands how the real world works. Deadlines are something you have to meet. Milestones are things you have to meet if you want to keep getting funding. So until next time, guys, this is That PlayStation Gamer. Me and his deadline of trying to get at least one video out before Christmas. So until next time, peace out. Bye.